everybody. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast for the week of December 29th. These last few precious days of 2023. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Do you feel like the energy of 2024 coming in, or are you still kind of like, what just happened? Wherever you find yourself, just, hey, thanks for being with me. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to talk about tarot and source and light and whatever else we're going to talk about today. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This year was the year of the Chariot. It was a drawing in of power. It was a consolidation of who you are and how to prepare you for the life you are seeking, the life that you want to live. So much of the past few years have been a breaking down of the systems, the structures, the ideas, the experiences, the relationships that were not working for us. And it is tough, man. As much as you might want new, as much as you might dream of things evolving and becoming and opening and unfurling, you also know that it's hard to move. As humans, we do get comfortable in places, even places that are uncomfortable. And it just takes a lot of courage. I've been really noticing that as I'm doing a lot of year ahead sessions with people, especially people that I work with, over time. I just find it so inspiring, and people who are willing to stay with themselves, to stay with their own emotional integrity, their own sense of truth in their life, their own sense of compassion and self-love, the ways that their lives are transforming, the work that they're doing, the things that they're creating in their lives, it's so deeply inspiring. And so as difficult as these past years have been, I also see the results. I see the fruits of the labor, and it is kind of miraculous to witness. So thank you to everyone who I work with, and thank you to everyone who's even taken the time to listen to this, because as you know, this is something I just really offer from my heart, for myself, for you, for the world, but also just people I've worked with over this time. I'm so grateful that I get to do the work with you, that I get to accompany you on at least part of your journey, that I get to see you step more fully into you. There's no better thing I want to do in this world. So yay, that's my gratitude for this past year, just kind of feeling into where everyone is at this pivot point. And 2024, this 8-year, 8s are power numbers. This is confidence and manifestation and materiality and success. What we notice in an 8 years, the speed with which things pick up, the speed with which, when we're reaching for ideas, energies, inspirations, how quickly those things kind of drop into our space, how all of the work you've been doing over these probably last 7 years has prepared you for this moment of, okay, let's bring it here. Let's put it on the table. Let's take a look. Let's really, really make reality of the spiritual, energetic work we've been doing over these past years. Let's watch the world change. Let's watch the world become before our very eyes. I've said to a lot of people, you really want to keep in mind the idea of counterbalance in an 8 years. You want to think about the pacing of your life, the pacing of whatever you're experiencing, and is it right for me? Is this pacing matching me? In some ways, you might want to fly, you might want to move so quickly, and in other ways, you might want to just appreciate the movement, appreciate the momentum, and also breathe through it into, I just need a second. I just need a second to kind of feel into this and confirm what's right for me and confirm that I'm traveling in the direction that is most satisfying, most correct, most appropriate for me and for who I'm becoming, what I'm here to do, how I'm here to serve, and what I'm here to share. The card for us this week that I pulled for these last few days and launching us into the new year is the 7 of Wands. Like we've said, 7s are the number of mystery. There's something about this that is a little bit hard to grasp, a little bit hard to define. And with wand energy, again, there's a speed to this. So wands and 7s, both mysterious, ephemeral, and fast moving. What I felt when I first pulled the card out, and I almost wanted to edit through, was I felt a little bit of anger. Like the figure on the card, most figures on the cards in tarot were pretty neutral, but when you pull them with a question, with a query, there's a way in which their face shape shifts and their energy shape shifts. And what I felt from this card was real fierce anger. Sometimes I talk like a valley girl, I swear. Real fierce anger and a real sense of back off. Like that was the energy I felt, like back off. So I wonder where that's showing up in your life and where that's appropriate. We need space, dude. We need space to process our feelings, to be with ourselves. If we're going to take responsibility for our full self, if we're going to witness ourselves with the eyes of love and watch the humanity of our existence unfolding. So we have kind of this witness consciousness where we watch ourselves having all the feelings and having all the thoughts and having all the sensations, but we're not reactive from that place. We're not just kind of like this ball of energy rolling through the world. We are the creator. We are the creator witnessing our experience of life and deciding where to kind of just be with it and accept it and hold it, and when to move with it. I actually had a beautiful session with someone this week, and we were talking about the Wheel of Fortune, and we were looking at the Wheel of Fortune next to the World card. There's something really beautiful about those two cards when you hold them side by side, because the Wheel of Fortune is good energy. It's like the wheel turning in your favor. The World card is when you realize you are the turner of the wheel. So it gets a little like wonky, a little meta, but you are both. When we say the universe is co-creating with you, it's kind of co-creating with you in this very macro global scale in which you're co-creating with yourself. Here I am in the world, acting, moving, watching fate turn, watching life appear before me, watching, what I'm here to co-create with. And then this force out in the world that's changing things, bringing experiences to me, bringing people to me. I have this sense of like, oh, that's happening outside of myself and that's happening out there in the world, when actually it's all you. So you are actually the wheel turner, the co-creator, the magic behind the curtain that is providing you with the stimulus and the input to then create the life you want. It's really interesting. So you are like, you get it? That it's all you? Evil laugh. Do you get that it's all you? Like, do you really, really get that idea that it is all you? It's important to kind of remember that. And at the same time, the Seven of Wands is not concerned with that. The Seven of Wands does not want to look at another and say, wow, that's just me. That's just another reflection of me. That's just another reflection of source energy, of which I am. I am source energy, and I am also witnessing source energy. It's so funny. Your head goes like, what are you saying? But you can kind of feel it, right? You are both and. The Seven of Wands is less concerned with that. The Seven of Wands is like, okay, yes, we are all from the infinite source. We are all from one energy. And yet this is me. This is me. This is my experience. This is my space. This is what I need. The Seven of Wands is a little bit fierce about that. And it's a little bit awkward. With the Seven of Wands, it's like, hey man, back off. And so I said that now, it's the second time I've said back off. And it's not really something I walk around saying. So it's coming through pretty clearly. And I would say something about it feels really right. When I say it, my back feels firm, I feel clear, and it feels righteous. It feels righteous in a good way of like, give me my space, let me have this. I don't need to explain it to you. I just know that it's right. The Seven of Wands, he or she is standing on a hill, and there's all these wands below, and it's a question, right? Some people say they're planting these wands. Some people say those are wands of your rivals banging on your hilltop, saying it's like a king of the hill. Remember that when you played that when you were little? It's like a king of the hill energy, like the one on top has to defend their position at the top of the hill, has to defend their space. And I don't know what that's like for you. I don't know whether that feels like familiar, like, okay, that's something I have to do. I've had to fight for my space my whole life. Or does that feel unfamiliar, maybe even uncomfortable? Like, what does it mean if I have to demand all the space for myself? Is that love? Is that fair? Those questions are open, right? So I could tell you on this podcast what I think about that, but it doesn't really matter what I think about that. It matters the experience you're living with it. But what does this idea of I need space, this idea of I need to fight for my space, this idea of who you need to turn to say, just back off, man. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. Where is that showing up? Where is that showing up in your life? And all I want to say to you is wherever you are in that dynamic, whatever that awakens for you, the Seven of Wands is here to say you deserve space. Full stop. You deserve to have your experience of yourself. Full stop. The questions come in around how you craft that, how you cultivate that, how you fight for that. If it's a constant battle, sit with that. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And I don't mean a constant internal battle, because that can be the case sometimes where you have to kind of relearn how to create space for yourself, relearn how to take up space. That there's nothing wrong with asking for, needing space in the world. Needing it, not just wanting it, but needing it. We all need to have an experience of ourselves. And if you've been raised with any kind of trauma, we know how simple that is and how difficult that is. It can sound so simple to say, yeah, I'm just going to take some space for myself. But if you're kind of raised in these models of codependency and raised in these models of caretaking and raised in these models of fawning or even fighting or even fleeing, there's a sense of, is that even okay? Is that even possible? I know for myself, in my own relationships and especially in romantic relationships, I will just disappear. I will just disappear. And it takes real focus for me to say, okay, I feel myself drifting and I'm going to very awkwardly pull my energy back and just sit still for a minute, breathe for a minute and say, where am I again? What do I need again? What's appropriate for me? What feels good to me right now? Because it's so easy for me to feel into what other people need, right? It just happens like that. And I've explained to my current partner, like, it's not like I'm thinking about this and choosing to override my own boundaries. It happens like that. It happens in a second. It happens instantaneously. That's why we call it nervous system, right? Our nervous system calibrates to the environment, especially along these old grooves, these old movements, these old habits. All of that comes up in the Seven of Wands. Where do you need to call your energy back? Where do you need to kind of fight for or defend your space? And the reason I bring up the anger is because it feels annoying. It feels like, why am I still fighting for this? So just honor wherever that is in your life. Honor what that means for you. On the flip side, if you feel like you constantly have to fight for that, if you're in an environment, a relationship, a situation where you constantly have to say, I need space to breathe, that's something to think about too. And maybe it's something to get help with. Maybe your way of communicating it, maybe the environment itself isn't appropriate for you. Like maybe there's something to be understood. It shouldn't be a constant battle. And even like I said before, constant battle internally, that too should get itself worked out. That too is bringing my habits, bringing my awareness to something and retraining myself in terms of how I defend my existence, my space, my breath. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's really this message of like this energy of back off. And so I just want to say to you very clearly, you have full permission to need the space you need. You have full permission to say, give me my moment, give me my space. And I don't know, maybe that's challenging. The Seven of Wands is showing up today like a fierce protector of your need for space, your need for security, your need for a moment and a place to stand and be alone and be by yourself and be in your own breath. If nothing else, take this card as a protection, an ally, an advocate for that, and know that you deserve it. Know that you deserve to have space. And actually, nothing is accomplished by you giving in. Nothing is accomplished by the need I have for space getting corrupted. Nothing is accomplished by that. In the short term, it might feel easier in some way, but in the long term, it's an energy drain. And the Seven of Wands is asking you to notice that. The other thing that's coming up a lot for people in these end of year, beginning of next year sessions, and I feel it in this card as well, is take a moment to prepare yourself energetically for 2024, whatever that means to you. Maybe it's a letter to yourself, maybe it's a vision board, maybe it's an audio note, maybe it's a poem, maybe it's a dance, maybe it's a movement, maybe it's an altar out in the world. But there's something about this idea of the 8 energy will move quickly. And having a sense of what you want, having a sense of what you are looking for, what you are hoping to create, where you want your energy to be, it's really important. It's going to really set you up for success. And think about the 8 energy as really wanting to unify energy and materiality. So if you give it a focus point, if you give it a focal point, you will be very, very pleased that you did. A friend of mine, a girlfriend of mine, sent me a text saying, what's your word of 2024? And she said that that's what she works with instead of like an intention or a, what do you call that? What do people make? Resolution? She just picks a word. She's like, this is my word. This is what I'm heading for in 2024. So that's a great exercise. I've been playing with it myself and kind of rolling it around. And she says, when you know, you're going to know. Like the word's going to hit you and it's going to have an energetic value of like, what? Like a thought form to it. Like, yeah, it has its own value and it's here with me and I'm holding it in my hand and it matters to me. So I invite you to use that exercise as well. There's something about creating space for quiet so that you can really think on what you need, what you're looking for, what you are seeking right now. And especially with this 8 energy coming in hot, it's beautiful, beautiful, creative, reality-based energy, and it's yours. Feel your own pacing, feel what you need, feel what kind of space you need, feel what kind of breath you need. 7 of Wands in the tarot in general is like, back off, dude, to anything or anyone that's trying to encroach on that. Take up all the space you need. Full permission to take up all the space you need. And I promise you, if you're taking up all the space you need, you could probably take up a little more. We live in an abundant, limitless universe. And I want to just offer it up that there's enough room for all of us to be fully embodied, enough room for all of us to be fully satisfied. It is actually possible. It's actually possible. There's enough peace and love and joy to go around. May it be so, man. May it be so. All right, Happy New Year. I'll see you guys next week on the January podcast, and I'll have a little section on that about the 8 energy. We're going to roll right into the Magician and the Hermit in January. So taking some quiet time to make your little potions and tonics and magic is not going to be a bad thing in this January coming up. Curious. All of it. Sending you so much love, so many blessings in the new year, and I can't wait to ride this 8 year with you. I'm just grateful. I am so freaking grateful to be here. Bye. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.